So other than Neptunia, what you been up to? Have you been up to much else?
Not a huge amount. Spent time with my girlfriend and whatnot. I'm also looking at the first primary election results for the upcoming election because as far as American elections goes, this is probably going to be the most important one to date.
Oh
So I'm
gosh.
monitoring it closely.
I swear, if people buy into Trump, I will. I am going to have a field day.
I know. I'm hoping that Bernie Sanders gets in.
Bernie Sanders, I can sense his aura that he actually does care about what he's talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Unlike Hillary Clinton, who, from what I've seen,
She's a politician. She'll say what she needs to do to get elected.
Well, yeah, she.
That's basically it.
The problem is Hillary just sounds a bit hollow with all her promises.
Pretty much. Again, she's just saying what she feels she needs to get elected. That's it.
I actually saw a news where a woman who is a supporter of Trump, even though Trump doesn't want women working in the White House, apparently.
Pretty much.
But you know what her counter argument was? That
What's that?
She said two things. One, Trump has women working in his businesses.
I'm sure they're paid for less than men too, but
yes,
that's beside the point.
And she basically makes the excuse for him by saying, "Oh, he's probably just saying that just to, get people talking about him."
If that is his intention, he is being extremely effective at it.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess there's an old saying, there's no such thing as bad publicity, but holy crap, he's taken that to a new extreme.
Yeah, because because I've read on the news that a bunch of students skipped school just so that they could go to one of Trump's rallies and put up a sign saying Trump will make America hate again.
Pretty much.
So, and Trump then replies by pointing out to everyone, say, look at this, I love this. So obviously he's in on this somehow.
And actually, Trump is kind of losing right now.
Good! Thank gosh. Because
he's second place to Ted Cruz, who probably is even more evil than... Yeah.
Oh gosh, Ted Cruz, really? Is he that bad?
Donald Trump is an idiot. Ted Cruz is not. And he's evil as fuck.
Ugh. Oh my gosh. So this is like this is like an anime with too many villains at once.
Basically, yeah.
They do
insane.
This
is why I'm monitoring this shit. I'm like, I can't believe this is what we're looking at, people.
They do what I do when I want to write a story. I make multiple villains.
And if you look at the fucking Republican turnout, it's fucking immense compared to the Democratic turnout. It's actually kind of sad. Like, so far there's like, what, less than 1,000 votes counted on the Democratic side.
Yeah.
And that's full votes.
Yeah.
And on the Republican side, just the top 3 have 20,000 apiece. Of course, this is just Iowa, so the one state that went first in the primaries, but still.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a very close race, at least on the Democratic side, with Hillary winning by, like, less than 2%.
Well, to be honest, it doesn't surprise me considering a lot of people want to vote for her, because she's a woman president and such.
So, yeah, they want to buy into that whole, whatchamacallit, blah.
To be honest, I don't get why we should be, I mean, I would love to see a woman president, but let's make it the right one, at least.
Mm-hmm.
Because, to be honest, this is my thing when it comes to females in representation in everything, really. I would rather have one or a few good females, say, running for president or written well in a story, compared to hundreds written badly or poorly running a country.
Indeed.
So, I say this to Madhog constantly, but I am gender blind, you see.
I gotcha.
Meaning, I do not judge based on gender. I'd rather look at people for who they are, not what they are.
I understand.
To be honest, I think this is the only way you can live in this world right now, because, good lord, people get away with anything just because of the physical things. Anyway, I'm trying to think of something more uplifting than this.
But yeah, that's just what we're facing in America right now. We have this extreme right, and that has been just kind of fucking everything for like the last 8 years. If longer, and you're just like, oh my god.
All these people...
And basically what you're seeing on the Republican Party is basically those guys fucking stealing the stage.
Ugh.
And it's just like, if we're gonna go so fucking right, then let's put Bernie Sanders up there to face them, and we have basically, like, a super conservative versus a super fucking, whatchamacallit,
Democrat?
Yeah. A super liberal, I should say.
Oh, liberal. I must admit, I'm not very good at politics, and I tend to stay out of them. I'm more look at the human side of it. I look at the human side of things. Geez.
Well, I consider myself a neutralist, because usually both sides of an argument have something valid to them.
Yeah.
So to dismiss one or the other is bad. However, you're also going to have things that you put more weight in personally than someone else. For me, I have a very, very large interest in clean energy. That's something that I believe is the most important thing for our future as it stands now.
Yes, I think the whole world should be more concerned about that.
I mean, that's, to me, the number one crisis that we're all facing right now is the fact that we're going to be handing our children an energy crisis. And we can totally prevent that right now.
You know what? We could have actually prevented that even before then, you know?
I'm aware.
You actually aware of history where we actually had people who actually invented stuff that could power cities, you know, with suns, and it was kept back by the oil companies for years. Thank goodness, because not a lot of people know this part of history. I believe it was a Frenchman, I think it was, who found this invention out. I think it was a Frenchman.
Oh yeah, it's one of those things that they're basically trying to take patents on all this technology, so once the supply of oil comes out, they can look like good guys, and look, we came to the rescue with this new technology, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
It's fucking bullshit, but yeah, that's how you play the game. And the ignorant masses will totally eat that shit up.
If it was me, I would rather look at everything and see what people have to offer, and then say who has the country's best interests at heart and the human part of it without sacrificing, you know, the fact that we should be human and treating each other equally, sort of thing.
I see both sides of the angle.
I know, I understand.
Group of being more liberal and having that end by also living in a household that's very conservative. So that basically means that I kind of get both ends of the picture. I understand, the wanting to help as many people as possible, but I also understand that you also have to be financially responsible in the way that you do it. Yeah,
I understand that as well. That because effectively, running a country is like running your own house, but only all your children is basically the entire citizens.
And don't get me wrong, I've seen Democrats, I should say, go way over spending compared to what they should be doing. I mean, we were like, trillions of dollars in debt because of it. That's not being financially responsible.
Well,
I understand that you want to have welfare systems. I understand that you want to invest in clean energy, which I feel is a priority. Yes, I get that. But you also have to do it in a way that doesn't put the country financially at risk.
Yeah.
Now, on the other hand, I also think going too red is a very bad idea, too, because basically letting large companies do whatever the hell they want is not a idea for success.
Have you
That's
heard
when you get, like, fucking Blade Runner.
Actually, have you heard about the TPP?
Oh, yes.
Good, because I swear that no one talks about it much other than Takata 101 from Team 4-Star and a couple other people I know.
I'm aware of it, but at the end, there's not a whole lot that we can do to stop it. It's one of those things that it's basically negotiated backdoor, and we don't even know all the fucking details of it, so we can't even, like, fucking go for a legitimate outrage against it, or excite certain parts about it that we want done. Plus, the fact that, again, because it's so backdoor, we don't even know when or if Congress is actually going to be voting on it.
I would hope that's not going to get voted on at all, because the thing is...
It's quite possible that it won't even be done through vote. It might just be like a federal decree or something, or just a standard trade negotiation, because you don't need Congress's approval for that sort of thing.
Yeah, but the thing is, that will screw over a lot of people who make a living off YouTube, like, say...
Oh, I'm aware it has the potential to. Doesn't necessarily mean it will, but I understand the potential is there.
So, you can see why I would be outraged by such a thing.
Oh, believe me, I see where you're coming from. But on the other hand, it's just like, this is one of those things that we don't have a lot of power to deal with. Plus, again, you also have so many other countries' agendas that they had to fucking deal with, too. So, trying to renegotiate something could take years upon years upon years.
Yeah.
So, they're going to be less likely to go up the bat for that sort of thing. So, it's messy. Even if we were to, even if for some reason it is a congressional vote and we basically say, we're not in on it, well then all these other countries going on it, and now we're basically getting the short end of the trade stick. Because they could basically impose those rules on us without our consent, and if we don't follow them, they can just refuse to trade with us.
And lots of protests.
Basically, so you see my point.
Yes, I do. I do see your point, but still.
I don't like it. I don't like it at all. But I don't think that's a battle that we can successfully fight right now.
Maybe it's because I watch too many movies and I'm completely naive, but I just have a strong belief that no fight is over.
Well, honestly, I think we have a bigger fight to worry about with YouTube and Google itself.
Well, yeah, because have you heard about the Fine Brothers recently?
Oh yeah, trying to copyright the fucking word, the fucking term, react.
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
And of course, the fact that, a big video from Doug Walker came out basically saying, how basically YouTube's screwing him on payment due to copyright nonsense, and they're not talking to him or them.
Yeah, this wasn't happened to him only. It happened to lots of other people.
That's a big problem among YouTube, but what it comes down to is YouTube is not playing by the letter of the law. And that's what we're getting, that's what it comes down to here. It doesn't matter what the law itself says. What matters to us is what YouTube says.
Yeah.
People are hung up on, well, it's not against the law what I'm doing. Well, okay. Fine, it may fall under fair use from a legal sense, but this company isn't trying to take you to court over it. This company is just saying, oh, you can't make money off of my product. Or at least you can't do it through YouTube. Usually, is what it comes down to.
Yeah. But,
So, that's not against the law. It sucks. I wish there was an alternative that was viable, but that's essentially what it comes down to. The only way that Google would be like fucking in legal trouble is if they legitimately promised payment to a YouTuber and did not deliver on it.
Yeah.
But other than that, they can fucking do the payment plan however they fucking want.
There was... I'm trying to think, really, because...
I mean, it's scummy as hell, but yeah, that's how it works, and there's no legal recourse to it, unless basically there's this huge class action suit against Google itself for basically unfair tactics on that.
Yeah, because sadly we don't have a leg to stand on at all to protect ourselves from all this nonsense.
And the worst part is, a lot of the biggest things on YouTube fall under kind of legal gray areas. Like, is a Let's Play legitimately considered fair use? No one has really made a decision legally one way or another, because you're just usually adding commentary over straight gameplay footage.
Not to mention,
So it's not like you're allowed to stream an entire movie just because you put your own voice in front of it. It gets into very murky waters there.
Yeah. It's just I'm under the feeling that when people do Let's Plays, it's like similar to your friend inviting you over to a house to watch him play a game. Is that against the law?
That is not, but again, you're not doing it in what's called a public display, and that's what it technically is. Again, it's...
Gray area.
It's a legal, murky gray area. And that's why these big YouTubers aren't taking any action against Google basically screwing them time and time again, because they're on really shaky legal ground to begin with. If they go in front of a judge says, well, I'm sorry, a Let's Play doesn't seem to constitute as a transformative work, because you could make a very good argument that in some cases it's harmful for the work that's being shown. For example, take a game like Injustice, Gods Among Us.
Yeah.
Classic example of this.
Yeah.
Many people who wanted to play the game just wanted to play it for the story mode.
Yeah.
These are the hardcore comic fans and whatnot. If you have that available for watching for absolutely free on YouTube, well, those people wouldn't buy the game at that point. You have just hurt the sales of that game. Now, of course, you could make the reverse argument that, you might get more people interested in it due to showing, like, high-level multiplayer matches, but I'm just showing you how the argument could go.
Yeah. Very murky, those sort of arguments.
It's one of those things that, honestly, if it came before a judge, it really would be a 50-50 crapshoot, whether it would be struck as legal or illegal.
It would depend on the judge in question that you had on the day.
Exactly. So it'd be stuck in appeal court hell, and that's not a place that most YouTubers want it to be at. Now, on the other hand, someone like Doug Walker, who does video reviews, has a little bit better legs to stand on, because he does satirical reviews of a movie in question, and both satire and review are both covered under the, the Millennium Act. Explicitly. What it really comes down to is they had to update the copyright laws and make a judgment whether Let's Plays or whatnot are covered among them. Then if Let's Plays and works like considered legal from a copyright sense, then you could make a case against YouTube for unfair business practices by how they run the monetization policy. Oh, hey, Bernie's picking up steam. Oh my god, this is really close.
Oh.
I'm watching this as the results are turning in.
That's good.
Bernie has 49%. Hillary has 50.3%.
Oh, I hope Bernie makes it, because...
With 77% of the votes turning in. This is going to be razor thin. Like a razor thin margin. Which is good. Because even if Bernie loses by a hair, he has such a strong showing there that it's not going to hurt him in the long run. And essentially, even if he loses there, it sets a strong showing that he still has momentum, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And it looks like O'Malley is dropping out.
I have no idea who O'Malley is.
The third Republican, Democratic. Rather. He wasn't doing so well.
Yes, he wasn't doing so well that I didn't hear a single peep out of him from the internet.
Yeah, it's... my girlfriend is wild about him, but yeah, he just doesn't have a chance in hell. He's got, 6 votes.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
I'm still surprised Madhog's not back yet.
Apparently, things crapped out so wonderfully on his end that he can't come back.
Huh.
And that's the only explanation I could give. Either that or some kind of nonsense happened in his household. On the plus side, I will actually... Looks like I finally can go ahead and make new content.
Oh, that's good.
So the situation was, I have my final holiday gift review.
Yeah.
It's on Manyu Hikencho.
Okay.
As I like to call it, the booby anime. And when I saw this thing, I was just like, oh my god, I have to have Chaos D1 on board for this one.
Oh yeah, I remember you saying about the whole... I actually saw this anime a few years back.
Yeah.
And I didn't really take to it well because...
Oh, it's not good at all. But it's just there's so much boobies just thrusting your face at all times. It's just he has to be on board for this. Remember, his running joke is being the booby guy in my show.
He's the booby man.
Mm-hmm.
Next thing you know, he'll be coming in like the milkman, great boobs.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kidding though. I'm just being silly because
So the point was, I've been trying for 3 weeks now to get him over to film this thing.
Yeah.
And finally tomorrow, it looks like I'm going to get my wish.
Oh.
So because of that, I've been working on stuff for the upcoming PlayStation Vita month.
Yeah, the stuff that you've told me about last time when we talked.
Mm-hmm.
I have to admit, I've not done much of my own work in a long while, but I'm gonna try to this year if I can. Because I want to try and get back into the swing of things.
I understand how it can be hard. Believe me, I know.
It's a lot more harder for me because I have lots of people in this house to make promises to, not only just my fiance but also my twin brother, as well as my mum and dad, who my dad has a bad knee and back, so sometimes he needs help, and...
But believe me, you're talking to a guy that has a full-time job, a girlfriend, and a household that demands his attention at times, too. So,
yeah.
I understand how it can be so difficult to balance all that shit.
Yeah, so...
let's see, what else am I doing coming up? Well,
I know I'll be trying to, because you see, for the longest while, I've been trying to reformat the Antagonist Archive show to be different, because it doesn't work so well in the format it's in right now, because I was trying to write a review of Eggman in the old way, but it just came out that I would have to do it in 2 to 3 parts for some reason. I have no idea how it came out that big.
Well, something that I found that is really helpful, at least in my opinion, is to put entertainment first, information second.
That's what that's actually what I was doing most times, but
That's something that and actually going long format isn't a bad thing anymore. Typically YouTube's pushing like 20-minute plus videos more than anything else. So that might actually be good to release like a full Monty Eggman antagonist archives as like a full 20-minute length. You might actually get more push from YouTube by doing that.
I see. It's just that I thought that I don't know why I was like thinking realistically people might want 10 to 15-minute videos just because they're shorter, they're more concise, and they get
that's how it used to be on YouTube, but keep in mind YouTube's trying to position itself more as a competitor to Netflix and Hulu anymore. So they're pushing basically like 20 to 25-minute videos to kind of compete against the typical size of a standard show. So releasing 1 or 2 larger videos like that may do you some good.
Yeah. So I have to think about that. So far the first one for the chopping block of my new format is going to be a classic from the Super Nintendo era, actually, from Blizzard.
Fun.
Yeah, The Lost Vikings. Have you ever played that game?
I have not played it, but I have heard good things about it.
Yeah.
It's definitely a European game through and through.
Yeah, it's definitely very European. The villain in it is called Tomator.
Tomato.
Yes, he's a big green alien that looks like it's Arnold Schwarzenegger with a giant laser cannon.
Of course.
So that's fun.
Indeed. Let's see. I'm basically, besides the Vita month, I have a review of Freedom Planet coming up. I already have that all scripted and everything. I'm just gonna be happy to get. I'm actually having Shannon voice say hello to as well. That was the auxiliary project.
Oh, that's good. What's she saying hello to then?
The Fairchild Channel F.
That's a very unusual one. I never heard of that one before.
Well, so it is the first video game console that had programmable cartridges. This predates the Atari 2600.
Yeah, I believe I actually do know that there was another game before Pong that was actually the first video game ever made. Not
well,
sure.
This isn't that. That would be like Space War.
Maybe that was what it was called. I forgot what it was.
Yeah, Space War is usually cited as the first video game ever made. But yeah, this thing was released in 1976.
I imagine the games on there must be quite dated by today's standards.
They're very primitive. Again, you're talking about graphics that are not even as good as the Atari 2600, but what it had was one of the most unique controllers in gaming history, and it looks bizarre, but if you actually get a chance to play with one of them, it's actually really cool. So, the idea is that piece on the top, it can be moved in 8 directions like a joystick.
Yeah?
In addition, it can also be twisted left and right to provide some level of analog control like that, like a paddle controller. And it can be pushed down or pulled up for 2 different inputs.
That is quite a nifty little device, but I definitely recognize it, but I don't know who...
I know the AVGN looked at it in one of his videos, so that might be where.
No, but I have physically seen this thing before. I don't know why. It could have been my uncle, because my uncle was so into, when I was younger, he was so into buying different gaming stuff, and...
I believe that was an American-only release, so, I I'm surprised you would have the NTSC equipment for it.
Maybe not then, because I'm trying to think now, because I just can't shake off the feeling I've physically seen this thing before.
It's really cool, though. Again, it's a type of controller that is so simple and elegant, but provides so much control. It's awesome. Compared to something like the Intellivision's controller.
Oh gosh, that thing again.
Yeah. So that's what she's going to be doing a Say Hello to on. I also have a Say Hello to the Vita scripted for, Vita month. Say Hello to was always this series. It kind of made me, but I got really sick of writing it after a while.
I can understand that.
Because, okay, for the first series of Say Hello to, well, it had, like, the dirtiest, poor production values ever, but it accomplished something that nothing else was doing on the internet at the time. It gave you a quick and dirty internet, video forum guide to these consoles that you probably haven't heard of. Yeah. So if you run into one at a flea market or something, you're like, that's an Adventure Vision.
And then you could pick one up.
And you would have a quick crash course to be like, is it going to be worth it to me? Probably not. That sort of thing.
Yeah, I get the intention.
But then we have people like, bring it back, do more info. I'm just like, that was kind of against the point, but okay. So then I have my series 2 that I try to cram more info into it, but again, you can't really be exhaustive on many of these systems.
Especially with all the different hardware things to mention.
Like, for example, try to make an exhaustive guide on the NES. You'd be there for fucking months.
I can understand that taking a while, a little.
Or an exhaustive guide on the Sega Genesis. Or hell, even the Sega Master System, with just how popular it was in, like, Brazil and Europe.
Yeah.
Could be there for fucking ever, just going over every minute detail of it. So you I kind of have to keep that crash course, like, format to it. So it's just like, after a while, it just got kind of dull just plugging a system into the same format over and over and over again. Especially on Series 2, when it kind of lost its reason to be made. I mean, I brought it back initially because I was legitimately being paid for it. But once that went away, I was like, what the fuck's the point?
Yeah, I could understand that.
So then I want to concentrate on Gaming History Altered, but now that I don't have a artist or a Photoshopist at my disposal, I can't make any more of those.
Yeah, I wondered...
Because part of the appeal of that was, having these concept art of consoles that don't exist.
Yeah, and the whole altered timeline sort of...
I really, really hoped that Gaming History Altered would find an audience, because that's the type of thing I personally find fascinating, but it just never took off.
Yeah, I'm not actually part of the audience of understanding why no one would cling to that one, but I could probably understand why in certain aspects. Because it's like a what-if scenario, and that is a very niche, only some people would have an interest in that. Compared to, that was, what you were going for was way different to what most people would be looking for, I would reckon, for an audience.
I guess. I mean, that was basically meant to be my successor to the Say Hello To series, and it definitely did not pang out that way at all. Well, whatever. I had fan service Fiesta to fall back on.
Because everyone wants to get those animos.
Fuck, man. One of the biggest problems with my career as a YouTuber is I have such a fucking split fan base. It's almost like half and half. I'm like, do more video game reviews, do more anime reviews. I'm just like, oh my god.
The problem is that is really you're like a one man army on these things. You're trying to do many different things at once, but you're only one man. Really,
I am a jack of all trades type of guy.
You're like me. You're
fucking D&D.
You're like me. I'm a jack of all trades presenter. I'm a self-proclaimed one anyway.
So I mean, I try to cover a lot of interesting articles. I try to stay off the mainstream just because I don't like making reviews of things that just already been covered better by other online personalities. I just don't see the point.
Yeah.
Like, I never would have made an Undertale video if Madhog basically didn't use that as his holiday gift review.
The
only reason I'm planning on doing Freedom Planet is because... I'm sorry, my mouth is full.
It's alright.
Because no one's really talking about that game.
Yeah, which is strange, really. I thought a lot of people would talk about it, at least. Because I definitely talked about it. Madhog talked about it.
It sells well online, but there's not a whole lot of YouTube videos out there for it, especially not by big namers, so...
Yeah. I think there was only 2 times I actually jumped on board the bandwagon of reviewing modern games, and that was Soul Calibur 5 and PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale, where basically I just went full-blown game review on it.
I gotcha.
I just put my own insight into these things, like how I complained about people complain about how Battle Royale is like Super Smash Brothers, but they compared it without really thinking about it. Because
I think the gameplay is very similar to Smash.
But that's really a moot point, really, when most fighting games, anyway,
are very derivative of each other too.
Yeah, so that's a moot point to begin with. So there's really no point to complain about that. But,
yeah, I kind of get you there.
But there was it. So I ended up having to bring that point up, as well as basically bring up the fact they at least tried something different of mixing what a fighting game usually is like and Smash Brothers style gameplay into together.
And then we have Ryu and Smash Brothers.
Yeah, where you actually put in the command from Street Fighter and it actually works the same way.
Yeah, I'm just like, okay. Like 2 years ago, if you told me, like, fucking Super Smash Brothers would have Bayonetta, fucking, Mega Man, Pac-Man,
Cloud Strife,
fucking Ryu, I would not have ever believed you.
I wouldn't have believed anyone.
It's so ridiculous, it's awesome.
I know, it's so awesomely ridiculous, but the weird thing is, Cloud is a very strange one to add into it, because he's only in there by Final Fantasy's name alone, because his game was not on a Nintendo console originally.
Pretty much.
He was only on PS1 and PC.
Well, you also have to keep in mind that, well, let's see, how to make any game with clouding it on a Nintendo platform.
Well, the only one I can think of is the Rhythm game that was on the DS.
Oh yeah, that one.
Well,
he's made some cameos in a couple Nintendo console games, but yeah.
But you know what I mean, right?
I guess even fucking Solid Snake had a better reason to be there.
Well, yeah, because of 2 reasons. One, Kojima asked during Melee's development, but it was too late, so they had to make it up to him by putting him late. But also to because he had a remake on the GameCube at the time.
Exactly.
So, it's a shame though Snake didn't return for this one. I mean,
it's a shame, but on the other hand, it's fucking Konami.
Yeah, I know.
Konami is fucking evil as shit now.
Oh gosh, don't remind me. It's like Konami has become like the cesspool of what video games go to die, so to speak. where they're buried as pachinko machines as their gravestones.
It's so sad.
I know. Oh, I was wanting to see more Silent Hills, god dang it.
Nah, whatever. But these really are not the same companies we grew up with at this point anyway.
Because
so it's just like
the same people are not there.
It's sad when you see something like, fucking Sega fall into the disarray that has lately. But on the other hand, you have to realize no one from the golden era of Sega is there anymore. So it's not the same company.
Yeah, it's similar to Square Enix's problem, really. And the same people that made Final Fantasy games good are not there anymore either.
Exactly.
Nobuo Uematsu is not there composing the music. I mean,
and fucking Final Fantasy VII remake.
I'm okay with that, but at the same time I'm not, because it goes against my. Because I had a preconceived notion. Because you see, they remade 1, 2, 3, and 4, but they skipped 5 and 6.
Really, it's really surprising to me that they never touched 6. I mean, it is probably the best actual Final Fantasy game, and maybe it doesn't need an update, but on the other hand, it could use one. Just to get into more hands, because that game it's better than Final Fantasy VII. It's better than any of the modern Final Fantasies. I'll give it that.
This is where
I still think it's inferior to Chrono Trigger, but that's my own personal bias.
This is where I disagree with you with my own bias, and that's because I'm a lover of Final Fantasy IX.
Final Fantasy IX is the love it or hate it game.
I love it. It is the best of the series. I mean, sure, it borrows heavily from the past Final Fantasy games in plot twists and allusions
obviously was made to be a celebration of the earlier Final Fantasy.
Actually, in development, Final Fantasy IX was not meant to be a numbered Final Fantasy. It was definitely meant to be a
spin-off.
A spin-off title to celebrate its history, but it then became its own numbered thing when they realized that the PS1 was going to come to an end, so they decided to, let's make a big hurrah to this era. And
I understand the existence of it, but maybe because it hit me at the wrong time. It hit me shortly after I had discovered Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
So I had only played 7 and 8 at that point. So going to 9, not only was it tonally dramatically different, but I didn't find any of the characters, apart from maybe Vivi, interesting at all during the early part of the game. So once I hit the first grind wall, and believe me, Final Fantasy's fucking grind wall-y as fuck, I just lost all interest in the game. I was like, so you expect me to sit here for a half an hour and grind so I can get decent equipment? No thanks, bye.
I actually tell you something here. I'm not sure if I'll be doing this, but I really want to do this project with Final Fantasy IX. But instead of reviewing it or anything, I basically wanted to go through all the illusions of the past Final Fantasy games. Basically, for example, Zidane and Kuja, for example, have similarities to Golbez and Cecil from Final Fantasy IV in their relation to one another. I gotcha.
So you want to kind of point out all the homages.
Pretty much. But the thing is, that is such a huge, major undertaking because...
Well, basically, you have to come through a fucking 40 to 60 hour game looking for tiny references. Yeah, that'll take fucking ever.
That would take forever. I mean, sure, I can put it into parts like, this section will talk about characters, this section will talk about this and that.
I mean, it's just one of those things that just logistically it'll take so long to put together just from finding them all.
Yeah, that's the thing. I partially want to do this just because I'm such a big Final Fantasy nerd. I want to do it, but at the same time, it's like it's such a huge undertaking. I'm just one person.
I completely agree with you on that. I've waffled on a few projects myself over the years because I thought it was just too much to do. I can't remember exactly what they were off the top of my head because I long since dismissed them, but, what was it? Something that really kind of surprises me is that they haven't continued the Dissidia series of games. I thought that was basically like praying money for fucking Square Enix. What the hell?
Well, there is an arcade game right now in Japan, that has recently come out, that has been worked on by Koei Tecmo, of all people. Have you heard it?
Koei Tecmo. First you get in bed with Nintendo, and now you're fucking up.
This is actually one of the best things that Square Enix has done, because not only does the graphics look really gorgeous on it, that I bet you it could run on a PS4, where it's lovely, but they also added in a new thing to the battle system where you're in a party of 3 people.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
So
you can switch between them. I gotcha.
So far I'm not sure on that aspect, but basically you and your party members would be fighting against 3 other opponents. So,
I kind of like that.
So I love that. They kept everything else same, but added more. But they added a few more hero characters so far, but they haven't added any.
Here's the other thing
chaos.
that got me.
Yeah?
With all of the franchises that Square Enix has at this point, why didn't they just take it a fucking step further? They could have made a Kingdom Hearts Dissidia. They could have made a fucking Dragon Quest Dissidia.
A Star Ocean's Dissidia.
Don't know if you have enough content there for that, but potentially.
Really? Star Ocean has like 5 games well, the 5th one is coming out.
5th one is coming out, yes. I mean, like, just from those 3 franchises alone, you would just move so many units. Sometimes I wonder if, like, Square Enix is allergic to money. Or hell, just, like, fucking put them into, like, all one game, and, like, and that way you can put in guys like fucking, Chrono from Chrono Trigger.
Well, have you ever heard of a Itadaki Street, actually?
No, I haven't.
Well, think Monopoly, but Japan sort of deal.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that.
So yeah, Square Enix did a couple of games which crossovered Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest in Itadaki Street.
I mean, why not do that in a fighting game?
I know. Why couldn't you do it something cooler with it?
Engine. I mean, seriously, you made this engine. You could just plug fucking anything in there, and it would be golden.
Well, let's be honest here. A lot of people really wanted to see Sora from Kingdom Hearts fighting against Cloud Strife.
Right? So just do a Kingdom Hearts fucking Dissidia.
The problem is they wouldn't be able to add any Disney characters. But
why not? They still have the license.
Well, true.
If it's under the Kingdom Hearts brand, I wouldn't see why not.
I think really, if they were going to add any Kingdom Hearts characters, it wouldn't have to be Final Fantasy City anymore. They would have to come up with a new title that didn't.
Obviously, and I want to see World Ends With You characters in there. That's like my favorite fucking game from Square Enix.
You say World Ends With You?
Yes.
The DS game.
Yes.
I contemplated buying that at one point, but then I was like thinking, no, I'll save the money for something else down the road.
It's fucking let me put it this way. In 2006,
yeah,
they took advantage of everything the DS had to offer.
Yeah, the
dual screens, the microphone, the touchscreen, touchscreen.
Yeah.
They did it all in this one game. And they made it fun.
That's really surprising.
So, I mean, it shouldn't be hard for you to get these days, though. It's on every smartphone, or available for every smartphone.
You see, the problem with me is, here's my situation, which I kind of hint at a lot, but I don't actually bring out because...
You don't have a job and you don't have much income.
Yeah, I basically live with my family still, and I live off them, essentially. So, YouTube and trying to find a job is kind of like my last-ditch effort to try and make something of my life.
I gotcha.
So,
I'm trying to make something out of this YouTube thing, and especially when I'm doing taxes this year, it's becoming in my face apparent how not great I'm doing on that. So, to put in perspective, I made less than $1,000 American dollars And those were all from donations. I haven't received a cent from YouTube itself.
Oh gosh.
And the amount of expenditures I have for the show are 2.5 times that.
That's like, oh gosh, I would hate. I mean, me and you, we have two different nightmares: having no money and you basically trying to scrape money.
I mean, that's just how the fucking economy is right now. It's fucking bullshit.
Well, yeah. Britain's also has the economy thing going on where housing in certain parts of the country is expensive.
Gotcha. Okay, so Ted Cruz has been crowned the official winner on the Republican side.
Well, that means Trump's out.
So
that's
now it's
one devil gone.
No, he's not. Well, I mean, that's just for the first primary. So there's still a long way to go.
Oh, I was hoping that would be it in the end of it.
Nope. On the other hand, nothing's been called on the other end because it's still razor close and Sanders is still gaining with every result.
I hope he does. God dang it.
Sanders is at 49.4% and Clinton's at 50 on the dot.
Oh, so close. That's literally...
Does a grand total of... Okay, as far as the delegate votes, it is 601 for Hillary Clinton versus 594 for Sanders. So there's literally a 7-vote thing. This may be considered too close to call.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, it's one of those things that if a candidate hasn't gotten enough of a lead, they'll consider it too close to call.
Huh.
Which would be really good for Sanders right now. I mean, a decisive victory would be better, but it's basically showing, hey, look, I just fucking tied you.
Yeah, he just rips his shirt off, going like wrecked.
John.
I'm starting to think Madhog might have had a power cut or something at this rate because he's not back on still.
Yeah, it's getting late as heck right now, so he's not coming back.
Good lord, this is terrible. I have no idea whether to send this to him or not, even. Because it's like 2 hours and 30 minutes, and most of that is probably us talking about all this.
We could do American political podcast.
Madhog would probably get bored of it and not even hear most of this conversation.
Right?
Unless he was that interested in what we were talking about. And only to have him be surprised that, oh my gosh, Ross didn't even talk. Oh wait, he did at one point.
Yeah. Fuck, this fucking Democratic thing is crazy. There was 88% of the vote in, and it's just crazy.
It sounds...
I don't think they're gonna call a winner on that.
This sounds completely insane. What you're going through over there with the politics.
Oh yeah, this is the weirdest freaking election season I have ever seen.
It's like the most biggest freak of nature election I've ever heard of.
I know.
I mean, just having Donald Trump there makes it a freak of nature anyway.
Indeed. But it's just like this being this close, this is incredible. You don't see... They're literally 0.6 of a point from each other. They're less than a point separating them.
Oh, goodness.
That is insane.
Well, I think I better stop recording this then, since, you know.
Yeah.
So, Madhog, if you're still listening to this, thanks for listening, and we'll try and pick this up next time, or the next after that. It depends on you. Ball's in your court on this one, man. But, seriously, take care of yourself.
Definitely.
Anything to say to Madhog, Fairies? If he listens?
I said definitely. Take care of yourself, and hopefully you didn't die or have a random freak of Sasquatch attack you.
Yeah, hopefully.
I mean, that'd be stupid.
That would be really ridiculous.
I mean, something like it would happen to a fairy that lives in the fairy realm. Like,
oh, yes, and that's definitely better than having me sneaking around villains' place and getting attacked by dragons.
yeah, definitely don't want that.
Anyway, I'm gonna stop this recording now.